Well, happy Wednesday. Not a happy Wednesday for Army Sergeant Perry Daniels or Daniel Perry. I don't know how long this video is going to be. Depends on these two articles I have. The Army Sergeant who fatally shot BLM protester in Austin sentenced to 25 years. He was convicted last month and now he's being sentenced to 25 years. What some will argue to be self-defense. I'm a little bit on the fence for that, but I also believe that he was tried with a jury, and the jury was convinced that he was guilty. Someone argued that the jury didn't follow the rules, saying that the defense had to prove that he was innocent, even though you're innocent until proven guilty. There's a lot of speculations, a lot of frustrations, and a lot of debate over this. But this is the next segment. So, Austin, Texas, U.S. Army Sergeant plans to appeal his 25-year prison sentence for the fatal shooting of an armed man during Black Lives protests in Texas and will cooperate with the efforts by the state's Republican governor to issue a pardon, his attorney said Wednesday. Daniel Perry, 36, was convicted of murder in April for killing the 28-year-old Garrett Foster during the downtown Austin protests in July 2020. After 3 long years, we're finally getting justice for Garrett, the victim's mother, Shelley Foster, told the court after sentencing on Wednesday. I am glad I was not on that jury because I would said self-defense. He was innocent, and I would let that go on for days. Because you just don't get the point in an AK and a low ready approaching a car, even if you think you're in the right. Mr. Perry, I pray to God one day that he will get rid of all this hate that's in your heart, she said. I mean, I don't know if he had hate or not. Maybe he was just frustrated. A lot of people were frustrated back in 2019 and 2020. It was the summer of love, as they deemed it. Riots were all over the place. People were on edge, didn't know if they were going to be able to make it home. Austin was not excluded from that city. I mean, sure, it was kind of not on par to some of the other places, but it got pretty fury out here. Let's see here. Adela Uchid, Judge Clifford Brown is presiding. Oh, yeah, I don't really care about that. Perry attorney Clinton Brodin said in a statement that his client would appeal. He's called Perry conviction a production of political prosecution and said that the defense team would fully cooperate in the pardon process. Perry conviction prompted outrage from the prominent conservative and Governor Greg Abbott, citing Texas stand your ground laws. Don't exactly remember the YouTube channel, but it has a blonde chick and it has a one or another gentleman there. These are all attorneys that go over the Second Amendment and stand your ground cases. And the lady mentioned something that she's very flustered with the decision that Perry is going to get a pardon when she has clients of her own in similar situations, that she would like to have them be pardoned. She has clients in prison. So I think if you're going to pardon Perry's convictions, you have to look at the DAs and see what other criterias or what other people behind bars meet this criteria, and also extend the pardon to them. That's just my 2 cents. I agree with her. I forget which lawyer YouTube channel that was. I think it was like Armed Lawyers or something to that, Armed Law. Perry's conviction prompted outrage from the prominent conservatives and Governor Greg Abbott, citing Texas stand your ground laws said that he would sign a pardon once a recommendation from the Texas Board of Pardons and Parolees hit his desk. The board, which is stacked with Abbott's opponents, is reviewing Perry's case on governor's order, but it's unclear when it will reach a decision. I'm sure it's probably going to be about 2 or 3 months as they look through the evidence themselves to determine if it is even worthy of it, because he was convicted by a jury of his peers. Now, it could be that these people don't like guns or don't like police officers or don't like the military. It's hard to say, but he did get his day in court, and unfortunately did not go his way. District Judge Clifford Brown delivered a statement during sentencing that he didn't address the potential pardon directly, but insists that Perry had a fair and impartial trial and that the jury decisions deserves our honor and deserves to be respected. Travis County District Attorney Jose Garza said it was Abbott who decided to insert politics into this case. Are you sure it's not Jose Garza mad that one of his comrades got gunned down, being a menace to society, and is trying to tell the people of Austin that you have no right to defend yourself? Is that what Jose Garza is saying? Like, if BLM comes to your house, you have to take it. That's what I'm getting out of this case. I mean, you had the police chief, not the police chief, but you had the lead detective, 20-year veteran detective ruled this was self-defense. But you had the police chief and you had the DA here, Jose Garza, telling that detective that he cannot submit evidence that shows Sergeant Perry was innocent during a grand jury. No, I do not like Travis County District Attorney Jose Garza. I am willing to break my rule by no longer voting Democrats. If in the primary, I'm voting against Jose Garza. I'm going to be voting in the Democratic primaries later this year or early next year, just so I could vote against Travis County District Attorney Jose Garza. Garza said he's been in touch with the board and has been assured that the prosecutors will be allowed to present a case against the pardon, and it will include a presentation from Foster's family. The pardon process is a valuable check on the court systems, Borden said. Those who claim that Governor Abbott expressed the intent based on political, simply choosing to ignore the fact that it was only a political machinations or of a rogue district attorney, which led to Sergeant Perry prosecution in the first instance, he said. Perry was stationed at Fort Hood, about 70 miles, 110 kilometers north of Austin, well, northwest-ish. Well, actually, it's no longer Fort Hood, it's Fort Cavavas, because they renamed it because Fort Hood was or General Hood was for the Confederate. See? But when the shooting happened, he had dropped off a rideshare customer and turned onto the street filled with protesters. Perry said that he was trying to get past the crowd and fired his pistol when Foster pointed a rifle at him. I'm pretty sure it was at his direction, low ready. Witnesses testified that they did not see Foster raise his weapon, and prosecutors argued that Perry could have driven away without shooting. He made a split-second decision. He didn't know if Foster was going to aim and do a cowardly shot at the back of the window, like someone else did, which wasn't charged. So it's 3 people with a gun. Only one of them was charged because one of them killed Foster. The other one shot at the car, but was not charged. So yes, this is why I think it was political on Jose Garza because one of his comrades got gunned down in self defense and he's going to make the person suffer. That's just my speculation. That's my opinion. That is my bias speaking, by the way. Perry said that he acted in self defense. His lawyer asked the judge to consider his more than decade long military career and handed down a sentence no more than 10 years. The Army spokesperson Bryce Doobie has said Perry is classified as in civilian confinement pending separation from the military. Civilian confinement pending separation from the military, which means that he's going to lose all of his pensions. He's probably going to get dishonorably discharged because they're going to use this conviction to release him from the military. This is his Article 42 or whatever, or the Article 13. Yeah, it's Article 13. Unless they want to do their own process. On Tuesday, a prosecutor submitted into evidence dozens of texts and social media posts Perry wrote, shared, or linked, including some shocking racist images. They have been excluded from Perry's trial, but were publicly released after the conviction and allowed into the sentencing phase by Brown. I would like to know what, I'm not going to look into it, but I'm pretty sure they weren't really as racist as some might think. I think they're clutching their pearls. This man has a loaded gun ready to go off at any perceived threat, prosecutor Guillermo Gonzalez said, urging Brown to issue the sentencing at least 25 years. He is going to do it again. No, he's not, because if he's a convicted felon, unless that pardon allows him to own a weapon, he's no longer able to pass a background check. I mean, he pretty much lost his Second Amendment with this case, unless he's able to appeal the conviction. Perry, who is white, was working as a rideshare in downtown in Austin on July 25th, 2020, when he shot and killed Foster, an Air Force dropout veteran. Well, he's not really a dropout. He actually did a hardship release to take care of his girlfriend or wife, who was also white, was legally carrying an AK-47 as he participated in the demonstrations against police killing and racial injustice following the death of the St. George Floyd, the crackhead that died on the black man. Death of George Floyd, a black man, it has to say the black man, by a white Minneapolis police officer. It doesn't really have to be raised, but they're making it raised to drive the narrative home that the police are racist. They never do stories that a white cop killed a white person. It just says there's been a officer involved killing a suspect with his way. If it's a black man being killed by a black officer, they still say a black man was killed by the police. That's how they're driving the narrative that the police are racist, even though they're really not. I mean, there's some, but there's really not. Among Perry's statements introduced Tuesday, he wrote on the Facebook a month before the shooting, "It's official, I'm racist because I don't agree with people acting like animals at a zoo. Acting like animals at a zoo. It's frustrating. He's seen the decay of the social contract that everybody should have participated in the golden rule where you treat others as you want to be treated. And if you do not like when people are acting amok, homeless, pooping on the street, homeless, having sex in front of schools," I'm using homeless because those are things that are provable. Those are people acting like animals at a zoo. You also have black people going in New York, knocking out Asians, pushing people to their death on the subway. If that makes someone a racist, then I guess he's a racist. Floyd, who was killed, who cares about Floyd? Who cares? Okay, Floyd was killed on May 25th, 2020, a few days later, a protest erupted. Perry sent a text message to acquaintance, I might go to Dallas to shoot some looters. He's flustered, frustrated, upset, popping off steam. I probably said some things to that nature. I alluded to the Second Amendment when it comes to people of Austin going to parks or walking their dog on the street. Perry attorney Douglas O'Connell argued that the text and post were presented by the prosecutors out of context and that Perry has a right to free speech. Some of those social media voices were frankly repugnant, O'Connell said, while classifying others as dark humor. I got some pretty dark humor. I was deployed to Iraq. I've seen some things. One way to process stress is to have dark humor. May not be the best humor. Dark humor can be a step below racist humor. It's an acquired taste. Don't get me wrong. It is an acquired taste. And not everyone's going to agree with it. So Foster with his girlfriend, Whitney Mitchell, who is black and uses a wheelchair, when Perry was gunned him down. Black Lives Matter to Garrett, his mother told in the courtroom Wednesday. The love of his life was a black woman. But this is why I'm thinking it's political. This happened in January 23rd, 2023. Gas station clerk arrested for murder after an argument with a man in East Austin at night. Yassine Naz, 25, is facing first-degree murder and being held on $1 million bond at Travis County Jail. Austin Police Department said Saturday, January 21st, around 11:14 p.m., officers responded to a shooting at a Shell gas station located at 4509 East Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard. When officers arrived, they found 42-year-old Marcus Demps dead inside the vehicle in the parking lot with gunshot wounds. Detectives determined the victim was allegedly involved with an argument with Nas, an employee at the Shell, during which Nas shot Demp. Investigation remains open. Anyone with with information. This isn't the full story. The story I heard is that Marcus Demps trashed the place. He trashed the place because for whatever reason, he was mad. Let's see here. Is this related? Yeah, this is related. Officer found, blah, 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 blah. Speaking to the person. Doesn't really say much, but the story I heard is that he trashed the place. He trashed the place, was threatening the clerk, went to the car, and this clerk, Yassine Naz, took the opportunity to defend themselves by eliminating the threat. This is why I'm saying that the our DA has a agenda, because this was actually legal under Texas law from the way I understand it. I don't know the law specifically, but it states that if you're in a gas station after night, you're allowed to take extra steps to make sure that you're safe because it's at night. So now the next step is for Governor Abbott to pardon him, or for the board to look into it, to make a request for Governor Abbott to pardon him, and also for the attorneys of Sergeant Perry to appeal the conviction. And with that, he's also probably going to be dishonorably discharged, or discharge, not exactly dishonorable, but less than an honorable discharge, because he was convicted in a civil case. Either way, his military career is over. His military benefits are probably gone. And it's definitely a good debate whether or not I don't know. It's interesting because I could see why a jury would convict him, because he actually went into the intersection, and at that time he became the aggressor. Even though he was the aggressor, Mr. Foster was the aggressor at the same time, but he initiated the aggression, therefore he forfeit his right to self-defense. So I could see it, but I could also see that the district attorney, while he prosecute this person, is literally doing plea deals for white beaters to walk free with no prison time. I don't know, that's just, I can't make sense of it. But that being said, that is my video for today. Leave a comment down below on what your thoughts are. Is justice being served, or is justice being misused? Let me know down below.